All right, welcome back into the Sports Source Statistics, Scouting. I know Mark Pancratz looked at all these guys. Jimmy Hyams, Josh Ward, you guys have been looking at these teams as well, so let's see how everybody knows. I want to go to the big board. Let's take a look at the big board over here and what you got. I was talking to you about numbers. This is red flags. What we did was we kind of broke down all the possibles, and remember there have been a lot of upsets the last couple of weeks, so we're going to show you some teams that have made it in later, and some of these teams have been crossed out. But because printers aren't open on Saturday, I had to do this Friday. But what you got, the darker the red, the more dangerous the team, the more red flags. And remember, Tennessee was undefeated against some of those 0s and 4s. So the darker the red, the more dangerous. The top 30 teams, that's teams you're probably going to see in the first round. The bottom 30 teams you may find in the second round. Let's dive right in. Up there, the 0 flags. These would be dream matchups for Tennessee. Radford is in as a 0. Southeast Louisiana, they lost in their conference tournament, so they're already out. 1s would be good as well. Arkansas Pine Bluff, out. Hampton would have been a good matchup, out. Wright State, who we showed you earlier, one of the guys, who was it, Lenardi or Palm? Jerry Palm has Tennessee against Wright State. That would be a tremendous matchup. Only 1 red flag. That's the kind of team that Tennessee creamed all year long. Cal Davis, out. That's a 2 red flag game. Charleston, 2. Okay, a lot of people have had Charleston up against Tennessee, Josh.
Yeah, it's a team that Tennessee should be fine against based on how this season went, but Charleston has 3 guys scoring 17-plus points per game. They can hit shots from the outside. So I said you need to defend the perimeter. Take away the 3, that can be the equalizer.
All right, very good. Harvard is a 2. They play Pennsylvania today, so it's either going to be Harvard or Penn that gets in. LIU, Brooklyn, a 2. Montana, a 2. That's a team that a lot of people have put against Tennessee, Mark.
Yeah, they've won 21 of the last 24 games after starting out 4-4, and they've got Rory, who's a guard, transferred from Oregon, leading scorer, leading assist guy. Will be tough for the Vols to have to maintain, but a game we should win.
Had a tough game yesterday, tough half yesterday against Eastern Washington, but they survived. All right, next, Jimmy, Murray State is another one that Tennessee has listed as a possible foe. Tell me about the Racers.
Yeah, Murray State, they won the Ohio Valley Conference. They also have a Jonathan Stark, who's the OVC Player of the Year. He's a transfer from Tulane. He averaged 21.9 points a year ago, 21.8 this year, a consistent scorer. They've also got the longest win streak in the nation at 13, and they lost to Auburn by only 4 in December.
Pretty good team, dangerous. Okay, and that's only a 2. So Tennessee was undefeated against 2s, but you never know. If you're not the one, if they come out and shoot 75%, the way Tennessee did yesterday, could be in danger. All right, back to the big board over there. We got Nichols. They were a 2. They're out. Texas Southern, they're in. They're a 2. They could wind up against Tennessee. Now you move into the 3s. Again, Tennessee was undefeated against 3s this year. Iona, Loyola Chicago, MTSU. That's if they get in. The Blue Raiders had a rough loss, Jimmy.
Yeah, they did. They lost in the tournament, but their best player is Nick King. He's been around. He started his career at Memphis, and he went to Alabama. He's averaged over 21 points for MTSU. And this is a good, solid team. I think it's going to be a dangerous opponent for Tennessee. They were ranked in the top 25 for a few weeks this year.
Yeah, and then lost inexplicably to Southern Miss in their conference tournament. It may boot them from all the other upsets may wind up costing a team like MTSU a bid.
And earlier this year, they beat Vanderbilt and Ole Miss, and then they played Auburn, 3 straight SEC opponents, and they had a close loss to Auburn.
There you go. All right, back to the big board over there. Also in the 3s, we've got New Mexico State. We've got North Carolina Greensboro. Josh, that's another one that's been posted against Tennessee in some of these projected brackets.
Yeah, and think about how good ETSU has been the last couple of years under Steve Forbes. That's who North Carolina Greensboro knocked off to get to the tournament. They can defend really well, 30th in Ken Palm's adjusted defensive ratings, so that's why it's back to guard play, taking care of the basketball, you'd have to do that. Anytime
you see one of those teams that's top 30, top 40 on defense, and again, Tennessee's top 5, you think top 30, top 40, that's a scare factor. Yep. I'm more worried about a good defense than I am a good offense. Keeping going at the big board over there, we have Oklahoma State, if they get in, they're 3. Penn, again, they're playing Harvard this afternoon. Savannah State is in, they're 3. Stephen F. Austin is in. Buffalo, let's keep moving down there. Buffalo is a 4. Well, let me ask you this. Who stands out of those 3s? Mark, have you got somebody that stands out? Iona, Loyola, Chicago, New Mexico State.
Well, we've talked all year about how our ability to keep teams under 67 points a game is a good sign or a good recipe for winning. Iona and Buffalo score over 82 points a game each. And then Loyola Chicago, who beat Florida, is the 3rd leading field goal percentage team in the country, shooting over almost 51% a game. So those are 3 teams that offensively can scare you.
And talking about 80 points per game, Tennessee was 21-3 this year against teams that scored fewer than 80 points a game. They were 4-4. against teams that scored more than 80, and they just evened up their record yesterday against Arkansas. So that high-scoring teams. Okay, I said I'm worried more about defense. I'm still worried more about defense. But if you're scoring 80, okay, I don't know that anybody's going to get to 80. I don't think Iona can get to 80 on Tennessee. But anyway, all right, let's look at the 4s. You got Buffalo, Syracuse, Vermont. Vermont is out, okay? They're out, which they were upset by Maryland, Baltimore County, which actually is good because Vermont was a pretty good sleeper team. And then you look at the 5s down there. Bucknell, starting to get a little bit dangerous here. Bucknell, Louisiana Lafayette's out. Lipscomb. Just across the state, and people remember, they played Tennessee pretty well earlier in the season. Notre Dame's a 5 if they get in. You're not going to see them in the first round. South Dakota State, nobody's thinking about the Jackrabbits. As a 5, they could be a little iffy for Tennessee. Tennessee went 10-2 against 5s and 6s this year. Mark, who stands out of the 5s?
Well, I like Lipscomb again, and because of their ability to score, they've got 2 all-sun guards that can shoot it and drive it. And I think that is Wichita State a 5 as well. Wichita State that lost, but you lost yesterday to a good Houston team. But they're tough, great guard play, scary team.
Okay, very good. Wichita State, a team that if Tennessee sees them, will probably be in the second round. That's what we'll talk about in the next segment. I can't believe we're back on time. That was pretty good. All right, when we come back, we're going to run through. And here's the thing. There are no more 0s and 1s and 2s. Everybody's got 3 red flags in terms of our 9 statistics we look at. And we're going to show you who the 7s and 8s are as well. Teams Tennessee does not want to see on the bracket. Come on back on the Sports Source.